Hey, Ryan Michael Galloway here with We Don't Need No Sneaking Record Company.com, and as promised, as I had mentioned in a couple of status posts out there, that I've gotten together with my friend Ron Logan. Ron is also my co-producer on the last two CDs. Ron is very humble about what he's doing, but first of all, I just kind of want to establish that what we're going to be talking about is the home studio. We went to the really big studio. We went to Crystal Clear Sound, and you saw all the stuff they had and the fact that they can handle a really big band. But most of us don't have that kind of money, and most of us have a limited resource, and most of us have kind of stripped down tools and that kind of thing. And what can we accomplish with that? Well, the answer that I'm going to get to is an awful lot. And so we're here in Ron's home studio, and I want to give you a little background about Ron. I'll start by saying what I know is that he's developed a phenomenal ear. He's very humble about this stuff, so I hope I don't embarrass him too much. But you know, he doesn't consider himself professional. I would consider him a professional in this because of the work that he turns out. But we'll at least call him a very serious hobbyist. And we've been able to produce some tremendous stuff. And I've been, working with Ron for probably 6 or 7 years now, and I've seen some of the progress. We started from a really good place, but the stuff that we produced over time continued to get even better.
As we both learned what we were doing.
Yeah, well, I think I started out being one of your guinea pigs, and I'd been used to being in a recording studio situation. I'd say, okay, Ron, do this, and he'd go, I got to figure out how to do that one. But that was in the early days, and if you want to hear anything that we've worked on, especially as of the last year and a half or so, go to www.myspace.com/rmgalloway and listen to the 5 songs I've got posted up there. It goes from very simple to pretty complex, and those are all recorded and at least mixed here. And we did some interesting things to pull things together, and we'll get to that in these posts. But so Ron, I don't know your background like the back of my hand. What got you? First of all, you're a musician, correct?
Yeah, I've been playing since the mid-60s actually.
Mid-60s.
Yeah.
So, and you not only are that, but have you done live sound engineering as well?
Yeah, I started doing live sound engineer back in the late 70s when nightclubs, big clubs, first started going to having PA systems. Up to that point, everybody just kind of put up a couple of speakers and sang through them.
Right.
About mid-70s, people actually started miking things up in a nightclub.
Right.
And that's about the time I started getting into the mechanics and the theories of live sound.
And that's about when I did too, about mid to late 70s, when we started miking everything and putting it through a quad amp system and going nuts and trying to really perfect the sound, which is impossible to do, but we tried. Yeah. So, so you've been a musician, and I like having a musician as an engineer and producer too, because they can get to punch in timing and stuff like that. But tell us a little bit about that long music career that you've had.
Well, playing in rock and roll bands, basically top 40 cover groups that also were doing original stuff on the side since the late 60s, and a
few that
I was always very lucky to be in bands for a long period of time. That was part of it too. All my bands lasted for, with a couple of exceptions, for 7 or 8 years at a pop.
Wow.
So I've only been maybe in 4 or 5 bands in my whole life.
No, that's tremendous.
And some of them even had the same players that just switched from band to band. But that's a big help, is find people that you can work with and stick with them. That'll help your skills a lot.
So regionally, we've heard of a couple of these bands.
Well, I haven't been in a band in 15 years, but Della Street was pretty big here. We played down Dallas Alley, some of the other Metroplex gigs and stuff, and a group called Windfall back from the late 70s and 80s, which was early 80s, which was like the Agora Ballroom and some of the big rooms like that.
Yeah, these were the big rooms back in the heyday at that time.
Yeah.
So very cool. So you've done it from A to Z, and also you did piano bar for a bunch of time.
And I've been doing piano bar for the last 15 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And from what I've seen, you and your partner Jimmy, there's been a little downturn over the last few years, but you guys have done very well in that.
It's been one of the better ways to make money when beyond the band scene.
Yeah.
It was just a way, as I was getting older, it was like I didn't know if I had it in me to put another band together. And and it was just a good opportunity and something different to do. So, and having come out of a band, the quality of Della Street was anything would have been a disappointment probably at that point. So
yeah. So well, now you got a little bit of background on Ron. I'm going to close the post off, and we're going to do another post here shortly. I'm Ryan Michael Galloway. We don't need no stinkingrecordcompany.com, and we're going to prove it to you right here with Ron Logan. If you need to reach Ron about a project and want to work on something with him, reach him at all one word, ronlogan@yahoo.com, and we'll be back. Thanks.
Thanks.